What's up, gamers? Welcome back to another rant, low quality production video hitting you right now. Let's get right into it. I'm going to be talking about Twitter. Now, most people don't like Elon Musk. Most people think that Twitter's going to fail. In fact, they've been tweeting a lot about that. Definitely not boosting the algorithm. Anyway, I'll get into that. So, first of all, I don't think Twitter is going to fail. I think Twitter is going to see a lot of change. I think a lot of things that aren't very helpful and productive are going to happen. I think that those are going to be corrected, and then we're going to see a lot of good change. That is my expectation for the next few years. But I just wrote down on this notepad a bunch of things which I just wanted to cover, just to get my opinions out there on today, the 18th of November, 2022. And I'm curious to look back and see how right or wrong I was about this. So let's get right into it. Elon has experience running companies, okay? You don't become the publicly known richest man in the world without successfully running companies. So if you think that he's not able to run a company, I disagree with you there. Twitter can become the best place for discussion and dissemination of information in the world, right? We can allow people to do their own investigation into information instead of having to get everything drip fed to us from mainstream media companies. Most media companies are bought out by vested and private interests, okay? They're trying to push a narrative, and most of it is left-leaning. I'm also left-leaning, but they censor contrary opinions, which means you're not allowed to discuss contrary things to what the mainstream media is trying to say. Investigation can be done publicly and it can be shared on Twitter. So that's what's happened recently with the whole FTX and SBF scandal. If you haven't looked into it, all you have to do is check some of Elon Musk's most recent tweets. Yeah. And also, whenever the mainstream media talk about this, they don't go in criticizing how billions of people's money was lost and mismanaged. They don't talk about that when reporting on this. But on Twitter, we're open to do that sort of investigation. The media elite don't want people to do their own investigation. They want control over the narrative. But as citizen journalism increases, mainstream media will need to change to accommodate to the open truth. That I am looking forward to. Elon Musk stated the following: "I hope that even my worst critics can remain on Twitter because that is what free speech means." Exactly. You should be open and allowed to criticize people. You should be open to discuss these ideas. Why would you censor an opinion? It's like, that's the most fascistic thing you can do. If you don't want to be a fascist, don't censor other people's opinions. Yep, there are a lot of topics and discussions which haven't been open for a very long time, and it will be good to see these possibilities of conversation to happen again on Twitter. I'm looking forward to that. All the people who complain that Twitter is dead and over need to know that it's recently hit all-time highs for active users, breaking records, okay? In all of Twitter's history, it's got the highest amount of active users at the moment. I think all the people complaining that Twitter is dead and all the mainstream media narrative saying that it's dead is helping to promote more users going to Twitter, strangely enough, which is not what they want, but they're doing it anyway. If you really disagree with Elon, if you truly disagree with him, the best thing you can do is stop using the application. You can stop watching videos like this. You can stop talking about it, stop giving it attention and letting it live rent-free in your head. I don't know if anyone who really disagrees with me is going to be there typing an angry comment at the moment. I apologize that you feel that way. Right, I sensed an algorithm shift in Twitter around 2016. That's all I sensed. I remember when I used to click on a tweet and see the most common, the top replies, it was usually something funny, something humorous. But I remember around 2016, instead of showing humorous and funny replies, it started promoting only woke narratives. That was what was filling my screen. I wasn't enjoying the experience of Twitter around that time, and it hasn't gotten a lot better since. I think what we can have is, instead of aligning everyone's Twitter experience around a woke narrative at its central axis, everyone can have a personalized experience through an individually optimized algorithm. This is the main thing I'm excited about with Elon Musk coming over. Everyone can have a custom experience based on what they're interested in and based on how they interact with Twitter. If there's Anyone that can get a group of engineers and programmers together to optimize the algorithm is Elon Musk. Plus, he has an open source policy, which means that all of the algorithm and how it runs will be open for people to see how it works, which is great. We need that sort of thing in the world. We need things to be open for people to know how the system works. No doubt there's a massive bot issue. Parag lied about what percentage of accounts are bots. So Twitter Blue is a real attempt at trying to fix this. For so many years, Twitter has been the same thing over and over. A lot of woke takes, a lot of bot accounts, a lot of narratives which mainstream media have been trying to push and promote. By making Twitter Blue, we finally got an attempt to try to fix this. I think that's good. Finding a way to authenticate the human accounts is absolutely crucial for Twitter to become what is intended to be the digital town square. That is what the goal is. Twitter has a base set of rules, but depending on which country you're in, you're subject to extra rules. So just a small example, what's happened recently in Brazil is that if you suggest that there's been voter fraud in the last election, you're banned and you're censored. That's just the way that their laws are written. The discussion of that possibility is censored. You'll get cancelled. You're not allowed to talk about it. I disagree with that. I think you should be open to have these conversations. And Twitter, it doesn't state on that particular line that you'll get banned for that sort of thing, but there's still country laws that you have to go through after that. Twitter can become a trusted messaging platform, something encrypted like the Signal app, which is something that a lot of people have been wanting for a really long time, is a trustworthy way to message and contact other people without the idea that you're getting spied on. There are things like super chatting on YouTube and on Twitch, where you can donate a bit of money to show some support for someone. I think on Twitter we'll be able to do that with maybe Ethereum or maybe even Dogecoin. So potential investment idea there. I'm personally invested in those two cryptocurrencies. I've talked to a lot of friends and said, I think these could be successful cryptos in the future. As of the 18th of November 2022, this has yet to be seen, but as these changes come to the platform, we might be able to see a little rise in those values. So I'm hoping that I make money from this, but you never know. Hopefully I'll be able to look back and say, wow, I was right. But there's also a chance that I'll look back and say, well, I lost all my money. But you never know unless you try, so that's why I'm trying. Elon wants to create the everything app called X. He's got the domain name x.com. Fantastic that you've got such a short URL for a website. He wants it to be used for the messaging that I was talking about, that's encrypted, used as a town square where people are open to discuss anything. And well, not anything. There are some topics which obviously you do not want to have. And I think it's written in the Twitter rule sets what things they can and cannot have. But yeah, being able to talk about things without risking being censored and completely banned off the internet, I think that's a good thing. It can be an application that's used for financial payments and more. So it's kind of like WeChat in China, but instead of running through a centralized government, it will be decentralized, working on blockchain. That is my biggest hope for the future, is that instead of it being in the hands of one government, it will be able to be in the hands of the people running on a blockchain. That is my biggest hope for the future, is that Elon Musk creates an open source software that everyone can use and that isn't being centralized or controlled by one group of individuals. I think that is a very, very good, and I'm hoping that we get that in the world, because I'm quite worried if we don't get that. Elon Musk has said that criticism from both the left and the right is a good sign. I agree with that. If you can find an issue, let's say in politics, where people on the left and the right agree, then you've got a higher overall percentage of people on agreement for a needed change. So if we say, the elite are too rich and have too much power and too much money, I think that's an issue that most of the left and the right can agree with. And if we got together to actually try to instantiate that change, there would be a higher percentage of people that agree on this. The reason that these sort of ideas are not promoted by politicians is because what they want right now is a division. They want the left to attack the right. They want the right to attack the left. They want to look for divisive issues like, should people be allowed to have an abortion, or should they support life, for example? Now, that is something which unfortunately quite easily causes conflict between both camps. And as long as people are fighting each other, they can't get together on issues that they agree with to fight the narrative. I'm realizing that I'm at the 10-minute mark of this video, so I'm going to finish the video there. I've covered most of the things. If you disagree with me, please leave a comment saying what you disagree with me. If you agree with me on certain topics, I'd like to know what things you find interesting. And yeah, I'm very curious to see what happens in the world, and I really hope that a few years from now I can look back and say, oh, good, we finally got a place where people are allowed to openly discuss things without risking getting banned. And also, hopefully, I might have made a little bit of money from crypto. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but we'll see. All right, thank you very much for watching this, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.